This is the third sampling tutorial for the Casio FZ-1. In this video, I'm going to be grabbing some samples from Ye Olde Worlde Drum Drops cassette. If anybody remembers the Drum Drops series, just drop me a comment and we can reminisce. I'm going to be grabbing 5 samples and I'm going to be placing them on the keyboard and then create a bank from those 5 samples. In addition to the sampling, I'm going to be feeding the percussion sounds or whatever we grab through the Flammer FZ-2, so you get a chance to check that out too. These are very inexpensive stereo reverbs and I think a nice addition for synths and so on. So let's jump in. As you can see, it's powered up, and I've shown you this trick before. If the display is dead, a quick fix for that is to hold down display and then push up the value, and you can see the display comes to life right there. The other problem is what works for me live when I kind of tilt my head at the screen doesn't work for the camera because you get screen glare and so on. So hopefully you can follow along and just forgive those extra lines that you're seeing. All right, the first thing we're going to do is pick Source Select. That's the main menu. As you know, when you go to Source Select, it gives you these options of creating a sound. We're going to be sampling, and we're going to be defining a voice. Once you define a voice, that's the voice that goes into the operating memory. If you change it, it's destructive. So just be careful what you're doing. So when voice 1, we'll call drum 1 or DM1. There's DM1. Keyboard set. If you've seen the other videos, you know this particular setting is key sensitive. Whatever I play on the keyboard gets registered, and it automatically goes from the original highest to lowest. So we're going to put them here, all on this C here. So there we go. Be careful, you can be playing around, and next thing you know, you've reassigned your sample if you're not careful. So we'll get out of there. Next thing is a level set. You should see the meter moving. I've got it on high. There's no trigger because I'm going to be doing manual sampling. The trigger is basically a threshold. You can set the threshold so that maybe you set it up to sample and then you go to your instrument and it won't sample until you've crossed that volume threshold. But we don't need that because we're going to be using the manual sampling from the bottom. The length, it's marked at 200. But I think I'm going to grab 250 just to make it a little bit more on there. Whoops. So, and then the sampling rate, we're going to go to the medium sampling rate, 8 kilohertz, so we can get kind of a lo-fi type drum. It's going to be coming from cassette anyway, so let's just go with the flow. So manual sampling. As you can hear, there's no sound. The FZ-1 does not monitor the sampling input. So there's going to be some art by chance, blind sampling, whatever you want to call it. You can see the meters moving, and I'm just going to hit yes, and it's sampled, and this is what we get. Kind of in between beats, so we'll just sample again. Try to catch something. Keep going. Try this one. Maybe, keep going. Yeah, there's a snare on there. We can crop that off. I wonder if it's distorting a little bit. Let's just back off on the sampling. There's a bass drum for you. Great. So now we'll escape from there and we'll go back to define voice. And we will do voice number 2, and we'll call that drum 2. Now, of course, if you want to jump ahead and see what the results were, obviously you can just jump ahead now that you've seen. We'll basically do the same thing 5 times to get the sound we want. But if you're curious to see what happens now, the keyboard set, we're not going to put it there. We'll put it on the C sharp. You just play C sharp 3 times. The level, let's check the level. We might be just distorting a little bit. Again, it's hard to say, isn't it, when it's not being monitored. But you go, yeah, eyeball it. You can see it's going into those jagged lines or the ribbed lines at the end there. Let's just try that. Get some distortion. The length should be the same, just to show you the length is the same, 250, 18 kilohertz. So you don't have to do that every time. You just have to define a new voice, then you're ready to sample. So just hit yes, sampling. See if we can grab a snare. Almost. Sounds like it's the end of a track. Just trying to grab a snare. Some thunder. It feels like the track is fading out. We might get the guy counting. I guess we could keep that. All right, so let's go on to define voice. And we will define voice 3. We'll just put a name on it. And then we can jump right into sampling. Okay, one more for 3. Go down to sampling. Ready to sample. I know it's weird not hearing anything, but see what comes out. Oh, I didn't do the key placement. We just go back and you can do that after you've sampled it, actually. As you can see, there's the default setting, but we're going to go D, D, D. Get out of there. Let's see what this sounds like with some reverb. I don't think I want to have the count on there, but let's just see if we sample again. The voice, yeah, it gives you a warning if you're going to overwrite the voice. There's a click on the end of that. We can easily truncate that, but easy just to redo it. Take the reverb off. I'm trying to grab a snare. Almost. Try that. And that. There's the snare. Great. We can go and truncate it afterwards. Define voice. We're going to grab 2 more. So again, if you think you get the idea, you want to just jump ahead and see what happens, you can obviously jump ahead. But following the process, you can see there's some trial and error when you're sampling blind. Of course, you don't have to sample blind. It's just kind of interesting to see what comes up. This is the number 4, right? Okay. We don't have to do escape. We don't have to do, actually keyboard set is the only one you have to do. So we're going to put that one, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go on what they call D sharp. Great. So now we don't have to do any, unless you want to change the length, you don't want to go in and change any of that. So we hit yes, sampling. Oh, we can use that, put some reverb on that. Now while we're on there, we can go to a different reverb setting. Another one. A bit more mute. Oh. That's a good one. Might come back to that. So we've got one more sample to grab, and then we can create our bank. So we'll do define sample. Voice number 4, please. Name. D. M. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5. The screen just went blank on dark on me. Please don't go dark on me. Okay, so now we're going to keep that the same, except the keyboard set we'll put here. And you just go E, 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 E. Move 1 righteous chair in Chinese for you Mandarin speakers. Actually, move 1 righteous chair. Yeah, E, 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 E. That's 4 E's. Auto sampling, no, we're going to do manual sampling, so it's going to sample as soon as I hit yes, go. Keep going. I've done this number of times with various old cassettes, and you can grab some amazing stuff, but we're very specifically trying to grab some percussion sounds. Again, it sounds like it's fading out. I just want a single snare, please. There you go. So we've got our 5 samples. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get out of there and, I'm going to tweak them. And again, you can jump ahead and see what the result is at the end, or you can just stay with me as I go through and just tweak those samples. So this first sample I'm going to pull up is number 1, sample 1. And we'll go to create voice. And let's truncate. When you do truncate, actually, there's several stages where you can just hit display, and the sample will come up. Okay, I think we're good with that. We'll go to the next, go to number 2, define voice. Now we're going to work with number 2. We'll hit, Oh, I think the tape just stopped. We will do create voice and hit truncate. Oh, that's our little phasey. Now, I'd be very tempted to go into here and loop it, but I'm not going to do looping right now. So we'll go on to our next one, number 3, and we'll create that one and truncate that one and hit display. Oh, and you can see it doesn't start at the beginning. So we're just going to use the slider here to move the cursor along. You can just see the cut. Now, again, you can use the arrow keys, go down and zoom in and across to the beginning of the sample. There it is right now. It might even be that line right there, just before. Okay, that'll do for that one. Very nice. Now we'll go define the next one. The next one we're going to work with is number 4. And again, we'll do create voice, and we will do truncate, so we'll enter it. Now, for those of you thinking, oh, this is very fiddly, all this menu diving and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, but these days when you're working, even when you're working with software, there's ultimate menus and mousing. The other thing about these machines, of course, is they only max out at 2 megabytes, rather than the gigabytes upon gigabytes of soft synths and samplers that you can use. Once again, you can see, oh, and by the way, when you're using 2 megabytes, you've got to be very economical with your use of memory. So you can see the cursor there. We're just trying to catch this at the beginning. I think that'll do. We can zoom in. Oh, we're not quite at the beginning there. I think that's the beginning. Great. So we get out of there. We go to the next voice, which will be voice 5. Oops, I didn't define it. My bad. So we've got define voice. We're going to be working with voice 5. So we get out of there, create voice, truncate, pull up the display. And once again, you can see we're not quite at the beginning of the sound. So I'll use the handy dandy. That's pretty close. Let's zoom in. Oh, I'm early. So we'll go back a little bit. Yeah, there's the beginning of the sound right there. Just move that cursor back. Okay, so we've truncated and got our 5 samples lined up. Now we will assign them to the bank. So if you're just joining us, if you didn't catch any of that, this is how you create a bank. We'll at the main menu, source select, voice edit, bank edit. First option will be define bank, and we will just call it drums, or you can call it whatever you want, obviously. Exit. And now we'll create the bank. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Well, this is fairly straightforward. There are 64 areas, and you scroll through the areas using these arrow keys, but it won't let you scroll through if the voice is empty. So we'll on area number 1, we will put drum 1. Now we can do area number 2. We'll do drum 2. Area number 3. We'll do drum 3. Let's say 3. Yeah. Area number 4. We'll do drum 4. And area number 5. We'll do drum 5. And as you can see, as I scroll through, you can see here that the key settings have remained, the placement of the sample. So it didn't lose that. But if I wanted to, I could go in and change the key, the sample placements again. So we should have 5 samples. Let's put that reverb on. If you don't like that bass, which I'm not a big fan of, I could go in and change that. I know you will want me to. We could go in and use the DCA to change that. So let's just do that real quick. We'll hit modify. It shouldn't take too long. We'll do voice edit, define voice. I want to change that first voice because I I'm going to use the amplifier to close that down a bit. You can see if I hit display, there, the rate, actually, it's on sustain for the first stage, so we'll get rid of that. There you go. I could make it go in quicker by using a faster rate. Oh, the rate is fastest. There we go, we kind of fixed the problem. Now if we hit play, we go back to the bank, put the reverb on it. Just go to a different it's got some kind of weird sound on it. But I think this one, the room. Let's just go into the modifier. I want to show you one more thing about the bank edits. And then you've created your first bank. If you remember, area 1 had the key placement. And then this is your velocity settings. Right now, all of them, and you can go to any point of the menu and then scroll across to voices. So you can like stay on one setting and then just scroll through the voices to alter the setting. But if you keep going, you'll see there's more options below what is originally on the screen. So when you first go into the create bank, it seems like the lowest option here on the lowest menu setting is maximum touch. But if you scroll down, go past that, you'll see we have area level. So I could go in and just make that bass drum a little less. There's the full volume. Back that off a little bit. And then below that is the MIDI channel. So each voice could be on its own MIDI channel. So this is useful when you want to create one bank, but you want, say, this to be your keys, this to be your bass, this to be your percussion. You could have each zone, if you like, on its own MIDI channel. And that's all created within one bank. Below that is the output. These are the individual outputs. If we use the plus and minus keys, you can assign which outputs you want to go through the monophonic output. Use, and it'll scroll to the next one. So let's say you want it on going out output 1 only. You would then use the minus keys. So now this entire area is going out through channel 1. Actually, this actual sound is going through channel 1. If I go to the next area, area 2 can have, again, a different channel and a different output. So if you think we have 5 drums, 5 percussion sounds, you could have each percussion sound going through an individual output, process or EQ them separately. So anyway, that's basically how you create your banks. If you got any questions, just let me know. Now let's just very quickly go through this. This is the level of how much reverb you're gonna get. This is the decay. So I think this is the room setting. This will cut or boost the treble frequencies of the delay reverb. So there, that really cut the bass, and that's really cut the treble. This is the pre-delay.